look at the state of this room. I will give you a full craft room tour, but I'm waiting for this Kallax unit to be put on casters and be a proper cutting table, and once that's done I will do a proper tour. And I'm still sorting the drawers out and finding things all the time. So on the top of here I am in the progress of making a dress from this beautiful fabric. I'm making this dress, but I'm doing that option because I didn't think I'd had enough fabric. I'm making long sleeves, but not with these little fluty bits. I'm making them full length and then putting some elastic in, which is a bit of a hack, so I don't know if that's going to work. My clock has come off, so I need to put that back up. And I've got a few projects here sorted out. I've had some requests for Christmas knits. Doris is back. She's looking a bit worse for wear. She's back from my daughters. My ironing board is out because obviously I'm sewing. And I also have, sorry to spin you around, my ironing pile. That needs to get done. And I've bought some yarn already for one of the Christmas projects. And these are some projects I'm working on. This is a new project brought on by a plan for something else that didn't work, and then I am repurposing the yarn I was using for the granny squares. I got bored of making those, so I turned that into a cushion and I'm making something else instead. And this little seat here is where I'm going to be sat in a moment when I do my proper chat with you. Welcome to Gargoyle Knits. My name's Anita and this is where I share my knitting and sewing and other crafty adventures with you. I hope you've had a nice few weeks since we spoke last. It's been a few weeks again, hasn't it? I'm sorry about the lighting. I seem to be in the dark. I'm hoping when I edit I might be able to lighten it a bit. I have got a ring light, so I've tried using that and it doesn't seem to make any difference. And if I turn towards the window, then you can see the reflection in my glasses, which I think would be more annoying than me being in half darkness. So I'm sorry about that. I'm recording on a new phone. I recorded on it last time as well, but I had the screen the other way around so I could just look at the lens. This time I can see myself and obviously I have to look over here, I think. So yeah, I have a new phone, well, new to me, just for recording these videos, so that's making it a bit easier for photos and things and screenshots. I can just put it all on this phone and then do the editing on my laptop later. So anyway, enough of all that waffle. I'm sorry about my hair. I washed it this morning, but I haven't bothered straightening it because I live in South Wales and it was raining this morning and now it's drying up. It was sunny earlier and now it's just sort of bleh. And I've got to go out later and my hair will just frizz anyway, so I thought if I faff and straighten my hair on top of everything else, I will never get to do this video. So yes, you'll just have to accept me in the dark and with frizzy hair, so I'm sorry about that. I have a few things to share with you this week. I have my finished sewing project, which is the Jenna Cardi by Muse Patterns, and I have my knitting progress, some knitting plans. People have requested things, whether they're for Christmas or just requests, and some acquisitions. But all the acquisitions that I'm going to talk about I haven't had yet, so that'll be at the end. So we'll start off with the sewing. So I finished the Jenna Cardi. I have done a little video of me wearing it properly so you can see it fully, so I should put that here. And as I said, it's the Jenna Cardi by Muse Patterns. It's PDF pattern only. I did the size 38 and the variation B, and the jersey fabric is from my stash. The Jenna is a fitted round neck button-up cardigan with 2 length options, hip or waist, and 3 sleeve options, long, 3/4 or short sleeves with an optional shoulder yoke detail. I chose variation B, which was the waist length with 3/4 sleeves and the yoke detail. So I chose that one there. And I'm very pleased with it. It says in the pattern, where did I read it? So I'm a size 12 UK and 5'1". I thought I was 5'1.5", but I've shrunk and I'm now 5'1". And this pattern is designed for an hourglass figure, a B cup, at a height of 5'10". But it seems to fit okay. It's a little bit long. I could have made the shoulders a bit smaller, but I'm happy with it. But there's not many people 5'10", or not many women 5'10", are there? So, but I like the cropness of it. I need to get something, a black dress or something to wear it with, because the cropped one goes perfectly over dresses, and at the moment I'm wearing them with tracksuit bottoms, which aren't very flattering, but fortunately you can only see the top half. But I'm very pleased with it. So that's my sewing. I am working on another sewing pattern at the moment, but I'm halfway through, so I'll discuss that when I finished it, hopefully by next time. Then knitting wise, I am doing the Rosery Jumper by Rosery Apparel. It's a free pattern if you subscribe to her newsletter. I'm doing the size 34 because it's an oversized jumper, and I don't want it really, really big, and I can't find the pattern. I can't find it because I put it in this pocket. If you give me pockets in bags, I always lose things. So I'm using a card. Oh, that's in there as well. I write all my rows on a card, so I don't need the pattern at the moment. It is very simple. There's a picture of it. This design here, that's very simple to do because there is actually only one row of pattern, and that's every other row, and even I can memorize it, so that's really good. And it's knitted in the flat, and I think, yes, you do the back first, so I'm still on the back. It is a simple pattern, but because it's black yarn, I can only really do it in the daytime, so I can do it on my days off, because by the time I come home from work now, it's a bit dingy. So that's how far I've got. And I have done the odd mistake, but I don't think you can really notice. I'm so busy, you won't really notice. So yes, I'm getting along with that quite nicely. The next project is a pair of socks for my friend. She asked for a pair of socks, and I had some yarn last time that I was going to use, but I've totally changed the yarn. I can't remember if this sock pattern was one of the ones that I was planning to use, but I am making them from the Vanilla Latte Socks by Virginia Rose Jeans, and that's a picture of them there. And the yarn I'm using is this here. It's lovely, all beautiful colours, out of stash. I was going to buy her some yarn for self-patterning, but the only wool shop I've got near me didn't have any self-patterning 4-ply, and I didn't want to send away to a wool warehouse or something like that just for that, because then I'd end up having to buy lots of other things to make it the £30, and I wanted to start straight away because I'm very impatient. So I've used this yarn, which is Springer and Manx hand-dyed yarn, and it's 100% British blue-faced Leicester. So I'd already started knitting with it before I realised it's 100% and there's no nylon in it. So I don't know how hard wearing it's going to be. And I bought this yarn in St Fagans. So the Museum for Welsh Life had a craft fair, and she said there was some small white patches in this particular skein. So she sold it for £6. But I haven't seen any white in it. I think the colours are lovely. And this is my progress with the first sock. So I am doing the 64 stitch size because my friend has a size 7 foot. And I have done, it's from top down, and I have done the whole of the leg. I've turned the heel, and I'm just doing the straightforward heel. There are a choice of heels in this pattern, and I am just doing the slip stitch. I believe I'm doing the slip stitch heel. Yes, you can't really tell. There's the slip stitch heel, and now I'm working my way down the foot. And you might see the mistake I've made in here is that I've actually knitted in my stitch marker. So I was knitting this watching the telly because it's so easy to do, and I noticed a couple of rows up, this is on like a little piece of wire, and I've stitched it in, but I'm leaving it there because I know that's the beginning of the round, and then I'll cut it out later. So it's a bit of a shame. I like those stitch markers, so it's a bit of a waste of one. But that's what comes of thinking you're clever and watching the telly and knitting. Now, knitting requests. When I was over my mum's the other day, she said, well, we started chatting about Christmas, and I don't think it's too early at the end of September to be thinking of Christmas makes if you're a crafter, because it takes you a long time. And inevitably, it's never just one project. There's always several you want to do. Like, for example, I started a Christmas jumper last year that I didn't get time to finish. So I'll be wanting to finish that for this year. So that's one project already. The socks there, my friend's going to have for Christmas. And then my mum would like a cable jumper and a nice sort of roomy size one. And that's going to take me forever. So I thought I would make a cable jumper in aran weight yarn. And I found a free pattern on Ravelry from Drops, and it's called the Deep Woods Sweater. And it's mainly plain, just knit. The fronts are knit and the cable is just on the sleeves. So I think she'll like it. And there it is there. And I thought, now this pattern, you are supposed to knit in Drops Alpaca and Drops Kid Silk held together. Or it says you can use an aran weight yarn as a substitute, but it doesn't tell you how much yarn you need if you're going to use aran. So that was a bit of a challenge. I think I've calculated correctly. Plus, I thought my mum is not going to want to hand wash a big jumper and dry it in the winter. So I get her some acrylic. So I went to Aldi's because in September they do I think it's a yarn month or something like that. And so I went to Aldi's and I got their So Crafty aran yarn in plum. It's 100-gram balls, and I've bought 700-gram balls, and I'm going to make my mum's jumper in the size medium, so I'm hoping I've got enough. But when I was writing my notes for this, I checked, I was going to say, you know, where it was 100% acrylic, but when I actually look on the ball band, it's 75% acrylic and 25% wool. And on the washing instructions, it says to hand wash only at 30 degrees because all the other options have got a cross through them. So that means it does need hand washing, but I'm hoping maybe if she puts it on the hand wash cycle on the machine at 30, being 75% acrylic, it might be safe. But I don't want to knit a whole jumper for her then to shrink it or felt it or anything. So what do you think? Has anyone used the Aldi yarn and put it in the washing machine? Please let me know, because I want to be able to tell her she can put it in the machine. Otherwise, every time she wears it or wants it washed, I'm going to have to take it back and wash it for her, and I don't really want to do that. And I know people can be a bit funny about the supermarkets and Aldi and Home Bargains selling yarns and things. But I had 700 gram balls of wool or yarn for £9 3p. So for under £10, I have got the wool, the pattern was free, and I've already got the needles. So you can't really go wrong. The only thing you can do wrong is shrink it when you wash it later on. So that's the one request. And then Harry, my eldest grandson, which means I will probably have to make one for Jack, my youngest grandson too, because whatever Harry has, Jack wants. Harry would like a balaclava. He wants me to knit him a black balaclava. I don't know why. So I have been looking around for patterns, and it was quite difficult to find in the search. But if you put in Ski Mask Balaclava, a few more come up. So on Ravelry, I sent him a couple of pictures of different ones, and he said he would like this one in black. I don't know why he wants a balaclava. I don't think it's because he's always hot. I don't think it's because he wants to wear it to walk home from school. I'm not quite sure why he wants one. But this one is the Ski Mask Balaclava knitting pattern from Mad Monkey Knits, and it's on Ravelry. It's a couple of pounds. It wasn't very expensive. I think it was under £3. And there are a couple of different suggestions, and you can make a Spider-Man version and things like that. So Harry's 11 and he wants just a black one, but I'm thinking Jack at nearly 6 might like to have the Spider-Man version or something more. He likes more colour, so hopefully if he does want one, he'll want a more colourful one. And there are I made sure it was a DK pattern because I have DK acrylic in my stash. Definitely acrylic for this one because it'd be soft on his face and easy for my daughter to wash. And the sizing goes by the head circumference, so I will need them to measure Harry's head before I get started. So that's another project to get going on. And I have a new crochet project to share with you, which I'm also going to put in acquisitions pending. So it's crochet and acquisitions pending because I have purchased a few things that haven't come yet. And the reason I started this crochet project was because I was trying to think of patterns to go with one of my acquisitions. Now that acquisition is I have ordered, so on the 29th of March 2024, I ordered the Craft House Magic 24-day DK yarn advent calendar called Woodland Wonders, and they are the most gorgeous colours. Now I always intended to make a blanket with those yarns, the 20 gram minis, but I'm thinking it's going to be such nice yarn. I might like to make something a bit nicer than blankets are lovely, but something I can wear out or something like that. So I have messaged Ellie and asked, will she be making, or could she please make some videos with some ideas for the DK minis? I didn't want to do the 4-ply advent because you can get lots of 4-ply now, and I just thought it'd be something a bit different. And there is a Stephen West blanket. I can't remember what it's called, but I'll put a picture up in the name of it. I did quite like that because it doesn't matter how much yarn you've got for that, but I don't know if the colours would blend properly because I want to, whatever I'm making, I'd like to do each day with each 20 gram mini. I mean, I might get a little bit behind, but I'm going to knit them in or crochet them in order of the dates that I get them. But anyway, I was thinking of patterns that I could use for that, and I thought of this book that I've already got, so the Tunisian Crochet Workshop. Now I had a little practice run a while ago with this because my friend bought me the book and some of the Tunisian crochet hooks, So I did have a little go, and it does use quite a lot of yarn because crochet uses more yarn than knitting anyway. But with the Tunisian crochet, when you're working towards the left, you keep all the stitches on your hook, which is unusual for crochet, and then you come back and take them all off back to one, and you go along like that. So I'm new to it, so obviously I've decided I wanted to do the most complicated pattern in the book, which was the sampler blanket, which I just think is beautiful. Now, I haven't got those colours, so rewind a bit. I thought I could use my advent calendar to make this blanket, but then I realised there's so many colours in this blanket. Also, the size of it meant that I didn't have enough yarn. I wouldn't have had enough yarn with the 20-gram minis, so I had to think of something else. Now, I have been making these granny squares for a while, and I made so many, and then I got bored, and they were in a little pile under Noah, the little cat that Harry gave me. And I didn't get any further with them. I just didn't want to pick the projects up because they were, I don't know, because there's such little bits. I get a bit bored, like cutting the yarns, tying the backyard, in them on. So anyway, I realised I had enough to make a cushion. So I converted the ones I'd already made into a cushion. And then I have, loads, because I was planning to do a blanket. So I have loads of these left. And I decided I would use them to do the sampler blanket. And the first thing slowed me up was I needed a Tunisian crochet hook, which I do have several, but you need one on a cable. So I didn't know you get them on a cable, but it makes sense because with Tunisian crochet, like I say, you put all the stitches on and then you take them all off. So I ordered a Tunisian crochet hook and the cable is for knitting as well. So the Knit Pro Symphonies, that's what they're called, isn't it? Knit Pro Symphony crochet hook has the join just the same as the needles, knitting needles. And I have done this much. Now, it doesn't look a lot, but it is quite long. See, it's sort of this long because it's going to be a blanket, and it is curling up, but if I can open it up, you can see the various stitches. So it started off quite simple. Then you did this pattern here that confused me a little bit, and then this pattern which confused me a little bit too, but I'm slowly getting there. It's very slow because the rows are long, and also I don't have a clue how to do Tunisian crochet, so each row or every couple of rows is a new stitch, and then I have to go and look it up. So they do have some explanations in the book, but sometimes I read and reread their instructions and think I haven't got a clue what they're trying to explain to me. So then I go onto YouTube, and there's always some nice person who's done a video on how to do that stitch. So then I have to watch that, well, find it, watch it, then do it myself. Sometimes I go wrong and have to go back. So it's going to take a long time, but that's what I'm using up something that a lot of yarn that I would have just been left sat there because I got bored of doing those crochet squares. And the yarn itself is Yarn Smith's Create Double Knit, which is the Wool Warehouse's own brand, and that's 100% acrylic, so that definitely will be able to go in the washing machine, so that's good. So that's basically all my sewing, knitting, plans, everything, and I have 2 more acquisitions to share with you, and they are, well, one's historic and one's pretty new. So on the 4th of September 2021, I bought the Susan Crawford A Stitch in Time Volume 3, the Colourwork Edition. So I don't know if any of you have bought that. So you paid for it then, and Susan Crawford was designing the patterns, and she was working her way through doing them. It was all self-published, so she needed the revenue from people buying in advance the book, and then she slowly released a pattern at a time from the book throughout these sort of, well, a couple of years now. And I think you could have a choice. You could either pay for the hardback book at the end, or just have an electronic copy, or even maybe just have had all the patterns. I'm not sure, but I wanted the hardback copy because she always has such lovely pictures in there, and I am old-fashioned and I like a book. I love a book. I know I have print off of patterns. I don't like to use my phone or my tablet to follow a pattern, and I like to write notes in a book. I just what I like, and I like to read a book, and I like to look through a book and just flick through all the patterns rather than flicking through lots of screens. It's just my preference. So anyway, that has been dispatched and it's on its way to me. It could arrive any day, so I shall share that with you when it comes, because I know it's just going to be lovely. And Susan has said she's going to be doing a knit along from the book sometime. I'm not sure if it's in October, so I would want to join in with that. And then that's another garment project that I'm going to be working on, unless she says you can do anything from the book. And I think there's socks and hats and gloves and all sorts, so it doesn't have to be something huge. And the other thing, so that was September 2021, and in September 2024 I have subscribed to the Sew Hayley Jane subscription box. It's the classic box, and that's a sewing subscription. And I've never done one of these before, but quite a while ago I sorted through all my fabrics and got rid of a lot, because I bought a lot of them, or were given them when I was first learning to sew, and realised that you do need other fabrics. But because I haven't really got any fabric shops or anything near me, and I'm not very knowledgeable about fabrics, I often would send for the fabrics. They'd come and then I'd be disappointed because they were thinner or not what I expected. And of course, because they've been cut, you can't send them back. So I thought, this way, even though it's not to everybody wouldn't like it because you don't know what fabric you're getting. And I do get that, because for a long while I've thought about having one of these, and I thought, well, what if you get fabric that you don't like? But the idea of it is, it's going to take me, well, I'm not even in a comfort zone when it comes to sewing, because I'm still, although I've been trying to do it for a long time, I'm still not that confident with it. So I just thought it would make me sew with different fabrics and make me experience new fabrics. There's probably fabrics out there that I would love to sew with. Like, I quite like working with jersey, and lots of people say it's scary, but I think other fabrics are a lot scarier than sewing with jersey. But anyway, I've ordered the classic box, and my first one's coming in October, and you get 2.5 meters of the dressmaking fabric, a meter or up to a meter of another fabric, thread to match the main fabric, and I think it's Gutterman's, always Gutterman's thread, so good quality. And then you get a selection of haberdashery items and sewing gifts, and you get a booklet with inspiration of what to use the fabrics for, and interviews and things with people in the crafty or sewing community. And although it's a subscription, you can cancel at any time. So if I have one or two, or up till Christmas, and then I think it's £40, so I don't think that's too bad for that amount of fabric and everything. So, and the postage, so we'll see. So when that comes, I might show you I will show you what I've got in the box, because everyone likes to see, don't they? And that's it, really. Rush through it again, as I say. I'm sorry how dark it is, and maybe when I sort of upload the footage it won't be as dark, I don't know. But anyway, sorry about that. Please let me know what you're working on and what you think of my projects. and whether it is safe to wash that Aldi yarn in the washing machine. I'd really appreciate it if you have tried that yourself. Please subscribe and like and do all those things. Have a lovely few weeks until I see you next. I'm not sure when that will be, but if you subscribe, obviously it will pop up when I have a next video. So take care of yourselves, happy crafting, and see you soon. Bye.